Diane, do you want to roll through the agenda?
Sure.
Do you got one?
Welcome to Richmond Parking Advisory Committee meeting on Monday, December 15th, 6 p.m. Town Center. We're gonna begin the agenda for welcome and public comments. Is there any, does anyone see?
There's participants one.
Okay.
That's the room.
That's,
Right.
is that the room?
Yes, so there's,
So do I hit that participant?
no, I'm saying that no one else is in the meeting. Oh, great.
Okay, are there any additions or deletions for tonight's agenda?
A moment at the end to talk about the new parking area. From the
Nice.
land trust.
Okay, and should we put that on for? How about like it's 7:45?
Sure.
Okay, so let's put down 7:45, right before the topics for the next
What
meeting,
are we calling that?
parking and canoe launch.
Okay,
Oh, the new Beacon parking?
yeah.
Be good. Okay. Okay. All right. Continue, is everyone ready to go on?
I guess we'll be dealing with the new conflict of interest policy. As individuals as we go throughout the meeting, so I guess we don't need that as an agenda item.
Yeah, how about moving on to anyone else for anything else addition? Approval of last month's minutes. Everyone have a chance to look at it?
I did.
Any?
It's fine to me.
Anyone have
I
any-
move that we approve the minutes from 11/3.
I second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Continuing to move on to review of Diane and Chuck's meeting with Interim Chief Cohen. Discussion of interim Chief Cohen's vision for recreational parking, discussion of present parking policy, policing policies, and discussion of what areas would be high impact areas in the future.
And then perhaps there's some overlap between
Yeah, I'm looking at
that and the
too.
next item.
I'm looking at that also. So it looks like,
We'll try to keep this concise and then we'll broaden out.
so if we could think about the discussion of the ticket price for the next follow-on and just talk about what happened at the meeting. Is everyone good with that?
Okay.
All right.
You want to start it?
You,
So my takeaways from the important takeaways for me and a lot of it was just answering the questions that we had in the last meeting and didn't know the answers to. One of the key questions was that if you are towed, you are indeed ticketed as well. Okay. The chief believes that you tow in the case of safety, you ticket in the case of ordinance violation. Unless it was a major safety issue, until July 1st, the chief warns, doesn't ticket.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Until July through June or through the spring, the chief gives warnings instead of tickets. Then July 1st, he gives tickets.
and may I add in here, Chuck, that like, for example, when he's doing the high density areas like on Dugway, he will announce on his speaker and tell everybody who's walking by about ready to ticket and tow up here, go down there right now, tell your friends to come on back up here and move their cars, and he gives them a breath to do that. So he does pass the word before he starts that process.
He's continuing.
Okay.
Yep, no, that's good, thank you. He's continued the practice of taking pictures at every parking ticket violation. The repayment or the payment rate on tickets and fines is 45%. We talked a lot about towing charges and they tend to vary. The number that he kind of threw out at us was $250 for the tow and $35 for a day's storage past the first day. We discussed at some length the bottom of West White Hill Road by Jane's house and what we can do there. And I also discussed that with Pete. The bottom line is that the town cannot put any kind of stones or rocks or anything in the way there to stop people from parking because it's in the right of way, but the landowner can. If you're looking at the land deed there, Jane pretty much has rocks through her property, but from there onto the guardrail, Sylvain has not opted to do anything, and that's really the problem area where the signs have all disappeared.
This is so I understand. The property owner, if an individual owns the property, not the town, they can put rocks in their portion of the right of way.
Right.
But the town can't put rocks in their portion of the right of way.
I don't think there's portions of right of way. I think the land is owned by the landowner and the town maintains the right of way, allowing them to work in an area, stack snow in an area. I don't know if there's a sharp division there in my mind. I could be wrong. But I talked to Pete about that. And Pete said, you know, if you want to talk to them and go down there and put a bunch of logs in there or rocks in there, go right ahead, but we can't do that.
All right, I guess then if I'm curious, I need to learn more. It seemed,
I do too.
Yeah, me
odd
too.
to me if a landowner could put huge boulders in what would be the town's right of way, but I don't know.
I heard this discussion when they were proposing the giant plan for Cochrane Road. And they were talking about putting 2 sidewalks down and all that stuff. And one of the landowners said, you have a right of way, you don't own the land. You can't put a sidewalk on my property. That has to be negotiated. You have to pay me, all that stuff. So that's kind of based on that's what I'm going.
I think I remember, there's liability if the town was to put rocks in the right of way and there was an accident that caused some damage. It's not to say that the landowner wouldn't incur the same event, you know, if they put something that somebody ran into then. Yes.
Has anybody talked to the other landowner and to ask or?
Sylvain?
Yeah.
No. You turn down. I think the neighbors feel that Sylvain allows people in there and welcomes them and all that. But it probably would be a discussion worth having. So discussion, present parking policies. I guess we hit that. I mean, he's very good about warning and not ticketing until the first of July.
Can I just comment on that?
Please.
People do swim in June. It's not all
People swim what?
in June.
Yeah.
It's not all that many. But is everyone here comfortable with no towing or ticketing until July 1st?
I think maybe I misstated.
Okay,
He'll tow year round.
okay,
If it's a safety issue, you're gonna get towed.
okay.
If it's a ordinance, parking child portion of the road, that kind of thing, he will warn. And I think he uses a little more discretion early in the season like that, but I don't think he would be above slapping a ticket on somebody who's quite foolish.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I wasn't clear, sorry about that. All right, that's discussion. Okay. Diane, do you wanna segue into?
So there was, just for information's sake, before we leave this topic, I had heard this before, so what, Chief had mentioned, about towing companies is that, towing companies have to be approved. And then there's a dispatch, and say there's 6 towing companies, and so when the police or anyone calls for towing, they take from the top of the dispatcher takes it from the top of it. You don't know they don't know that the police officer doesn't know who it is. If they can't do that tow, then it goes to the bottom of the list and they choose the next one. And I thought that was good for all of us to know that process. And there's an approval process. We did do quite a bit of talking about, the cost of the towing, being regulated by the town, because it's always much less than what the towing companies get elsewhere. So, and it's always uncomfortable for the police officers to call for a towing and the person moves their car and the towing truck shows up and it's like, sorry, the violation has been moved. So
And
it
that didn't sound like a rare occurrence.
did not sound like a rare occurrence. Yeah.
And the police officer remains on the scene from the time he calls for the tow until the car is gone. So if you're towing 3 or 4 cars, you might be there for a couple of hours. If you've seen a car get towed onto a flatbed, it's quite a process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you asked the question, I remember the answer, it was a great question. You said, I come out, my car's gone, how do I know where it is? What was the answer to that?
There is, if there's a ticket, it says, there is no ticket because the car is gone. He said, what happens is a lot of people think that the car got stolen. So they
That's what
call
it
the
was.
police department
That's what it was.
saying, the local police department said my car got, or they call, state troopers, they say my car was stolen, then.
That's what it was, yeah. So
Yeah.
there is no
Is
tag to
there?
a tree or, there's just
We have talked about putting QR codes on signs that, point to the legal parking place.
So,
That could also have on that parking website, could say,
yes,
if towed, call, and it would be the non-emergency number that would.
and that's up at 7:35, so hold that thought.
Okay.
Let's definitely, that's a great one. Anything else on this topic before we move on to discussion of proposed changes? Traffic ordinance?
Well, it blends into the next one, but this map, was that something he presented with your discussion, or is this a new since the discussion you had with him?
no, that's something that I did and he approved.
It was in discussion, Chuck went away and did. He said, what would be great is to have all those areas.
That's his vision, and so I
Vision.
made that map, well, I made a map, sent to him for approval. He said, yeah, what about this and this? So I tweaked it, that's why it's a little different than one that you saw.
Mhm.
And so that's the one that he is blessed.
Okay, so you just not having tickets, not having $150 tickets at Gillette Pond was something that you discussed in your meeting.
We did.
I see.
We had a lot of discussion on Dodge Pond and John, like all of us, I think he's kind of like, let's see.
Okay,
He didn't want to jump on that. So the changes he made that were changes to my recollection, which isn't hard. On West White, I had it from Jonesville Estates to Cochrane Road. And he said, no, I want it from the top of the hill to Cochrane Road. And he said, I had it from the towing zone beginning on Dugway to the end. And he said, no, it'd be better to have it from Cochrane Road to the end. And one of the things he made clear was that nothing about this changes the number of parking spaces. If you're parking legal, this has nothing to do with you. But if you're not parking legal, we need to educate you more quickly.
all right.
Do you know what format that thing was in? Was it, well, I have mine,
Do you have yours?
I have mine.
This was attached to an email, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you clarify then?
So I copied that onto our live map, not the one that's on
It's,
the
it's
town.
number 3 something.
Uh,
Yeah, your map isn't, well, unless you did something today. Hang on, John, you are
No worries.
patient.
So this one's,
I don't see what you're doing, John.
What
I don't know what you're doing.
so this one's, I think what,
was it on our? It was
this
in-
isn't an email, John, so.
Yeah, so what's on the disc?
So let me see the files. There's something on there, number 3. Yeah, right there, that one.
Right,
Oh, it's a Word doc. So open it up in a
Yeah.
Word pad.
I think it's gonna open it up as a minor file.
Oh,
I don't think we have, let's see if we have, Word.
Um,
Are we now on to the next
Oh,
topic?
I wanted to finish
go ahead, I'm sorry.
clarifying what he said in your
Yeah.
discussions. Stone fence hits West White 2 times. Is it the first time or the second time?
I believe it's
The first top of the hill.
First-
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
which is totally in the already existing no parking ordinance. I mean, there's just no place to park anyways.
And that's kind of his
Because-
point, was his,
Yeah.
his attitude a fair amount is a little bit of why not? Because it's easier to he'll lean toward easier to understand. And it really doesn't change the amount of parking there is there, so it's easier to understand to the top of the hill. But you're not eliminating any parking. I should have put that in the PDF, so
That's
we're
okay,
good.
I'm gonna go bring it up in, that's okay.
I think I brought it.
But there would be no discretion. Meaning it has to be 100, if a ticket is given, it's $150.
Excellent question.
Because, you know, sometimes, for example, when I'm driving to Huntington, there might be a single car. That parked by someone who's jogging. Maybe close to where Mark Shattuck lives or something like that. And it just strikes me as 150 would be a lot. Or something like that. Obviously, our focus has been on the real problem areas. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around, do we really need all of this?
I think,
Um,
I mean, he was partially motivated by, Andy Aldrich has a lot of problems up on the tree farm, and very often he can't get equipment in and out of the tree farm because of the way people park up there. So well done.
Thanks, John.
So that was a piece of it. Again, this is the chief's vision. And from where he sits, he's looking for simple, easy to explain, easy to enforce. Doesn't mean we have to be sitting in the same place.
Right. So now are we at the next
all
topic?
right, so we
So,
understand what your conversation is about and what he said, and I don't have any more.
And the same with
questions about-
Cochrane Road. He said Cochrane will do the whole thing. He says. The illegal parking is always gonna be illegal parking, but it's easy for us to say Cochrane Road. It's easiest to put that on the QR code.
That's what he said, yes.
Chuck, I thought at one point I had seen this where it only went up to here.
yes, so that was when the chief came back in that
Okay, great.
email.
And how high up does this go?
That goes down now you see we're down below there, third bullet point. West White Hills
To
to
Stone
Cochrane
Fence.
Road.
Okay.
The
Okay.
first
Stone Fence.
intersection, not the second.
Not the second, so this is incorrect and you want it to here.
And
What's what's incorrect?
So you want it to here.
Oh, I see.
No, that's Jonesville. Oh,
So
Yeah,
this is
so-
past stone fence, it's past both stone fences and what you.
oh, you are right. That is incorrect.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
mine is also, but for a different reason.
Yep, okay, I will truncate that, but good point.
And so, what I had, what I was showing you is that was taking, I thought it should have had. And I'll just do the same, but essentially on the map that's on the town, I'll just extend this up to Stone Fence, which is here.
So, by the way, John's not publishing this yet.
No, I was just-
Oh, no, yeah.
He's just playing with the
Uh-huh,
map that
yeah.
we already maintain off.
So this is what's
On
on
the
the
website.
QR codes that are already out there. It's what's on the town website.
All right, we're gonna get there.
All right, that just confused me. I thought you said it wasn't posted. And I
No,
thought
this is-
John
yeah.
just said it was.
No, the.
You said it's on QR codes that are already tied into the.
Right, but the
Let's-
yellow part is not there. The other
Thank you.
map is.
Let's finish our agenda.
So are we back? I feel like we've already started, discussion of proposed changes to section 9D of traffic ordinance. Shall we start that
Yeah.
right now? We sort of melted into the other areas. We just finished impact. All right, we good with that?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Next section, special proposed changes to the section 9D of the traffic ordinance from the October 6th select board meeting, including new $150 parking ticket zone. And there's a draft of that. I don't know if there's a hyperlink there, John, if you could hit on that.
We're,
Under the agenda, you don't have the agenda there, do you?
I gave him one.
I mean, on
I
the,
can bring,
Yeah, I have it in print, but not on
yeah,
the,
yeah, you may wanna
okay,
bring the agenda, then hit the hyperlink, just for whoever.
Yes.
For the recorder of this.
So where are you at now?
650.
650.
Okay.
This is where we stopped our discussion last time, correct? Where we got, well, we.
Well, we realized it was
On,
more nuanced
yes.
and deeper than.
Yeah.
So yes, we're back to,
Is this an appropriate place for me to just bring in Andy Squire's email that the chief does refer to?
We don't really have a place for that, do we? I should
Yeah.
have added that to the agenda.
Well, I felt like the $150 parking ticket zone might talk to that.
It has some overlap with this.
well,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about it.
Andy Squires wrote he's so thoughtful. November 12th, he wrote a letter to the select board and everybody. We sent it, forwarded it to you all again today, so it's at the top of your stack. And he says, hello, I have heard that the town is considering raising the fine for parking in the traveled portion of Dugway Road's no parking area to $150 ostensibly to offset the cost of collecting the payment for those who do not pay their tickets. As one who writes those tickets, it bothers me a lot to see that those who do pay their tickets would be penalized the same as those who do not. That certainly offers no incentive to own up to your errors. I have an alternate recommendation. In the matter of writing state tickets, there is a waiver penalty, a much lower fine for not challenging the ticket. Just pay it and waive your defensive action. Equivalent concept for the parking fine would be that the ticket is written, say, for $50, providing that it is paid in a timely manner. If not paid, it would then become a $150 ticket. I'm thinking that 2 weeks would be a good timely manner, but that is a small detail, and my concern, as long as it allows a practical amount of time, this would put the burden on the people who do not pay while not being excessive for the paying offenders. Those details would need to be clearly stated on the ticket. And I do believe the chief liked that
And I
idea.
like
So
it.
I followed up with the chief on that.
Okay,
And the chief's recommendation and email to me was that there would be a 50% reduction in the ticket. So he thought the $50 was going backwards, because that's basically what we are now. I mean, the problem really is that 45% of the people pay their tickets, okay? 55% of the people don't pay their tickets, get a certified letter, threaten civil action, don't pay their tickets. And we never see that money. So you could have 10 tickets there. And the town, once you've ignored it, you've ignored it.
Mhm.
So I'm struggling to see what we're trying to gain here. Those 45 out of 100 people, in my mind, are gonna pay that ticket no matter how much it is. That's just how they're wired. And the 55% of people are gonna ignore it. That's how they're wired. I asked him about penalizing. Hello there.
Hey,
I asked him about penalizing the late payers more. And he said that was a mechanical nightmare, because you're just introducing another layer of bureaucracy.
interesting.
And he refers to state tickets. We don't write state tickets. We write town ordinance violations.
So and I believe that the state has other ways of getting their money back. We do not as a town.
They, what, wouldn't register your car again or something?
No, great point. So what they do is, once they, so they, you don't pay your ticket, okay? The town calls up chief and says, hey, Diane's not paying her ticket. Okay, so he looks you up and he finds out your license plate, your address and all that stuff, sends you a certified letter. The state can assess points on your license for not paying your ticket. So another option is that the chief, once you haven't paid your ticket, the chief can write a violation of state statute against you. And then the state becomes involved and they actually do more of the work. And we don't get any additional money, but the state would then fine you not just a 150, but another 150 or whatever. I cut you off, John.
No, it's okay. Well, when I read that, sounded like a good idea, except it's solving a different problem, isn't it? We weren't thinking about the higher fee because people were not paying it. We were thinking of higher fee because we wanted to preferentially penalize misbehavior in those zones. So it's two different things. Did I get that?
I don't even think we should be thinking about the first one. Meaning
Which one?
And
having it be higher because there are those that don't pay. I
It's a
don't,
separate question, isn't it?
well, and I'm saying I should, not only do I think should be separate, I think should be a non-issue where we're concerned. Let's just, let's recommend the fee. And it is what it is. I'm deeply uncomfortable with the idea of having a higher fee for anything other than the severity of the violation.
So just so I understand what you're saying. People who go to pay their ticket of $150, how much they're doing within 7 days, how much should they pay?
150.
And that's kind of where I am too. So, the other thing I asked the chief was, I said, how about, I got pinched for speeding years ago in New York. And, the cop was very good. He said, I could get you for $190 for a speeding ticket. You're doing 55 and a 35. I'm gonna give you violating a town ordinance for $35. I thought I'd rob the bank. I got home, there was a $150 out of state surcharge.
Oh, wow.
So I asked him, can we write into this some grace for residents that pay within seven days and not necessarily anybody else? And he said, you can do it geographically. He says, well, again, you're adding to the logistics. I'm kind of mad on this one. And I'll be frank, I think some of the people out there writing tickets at $150 are just gonna write warnings. They're not gonna, they won't write tickets.
honing back in again on discussion of proposed changes to this ordinance. John, were you able to hit on the hyperlink for that? Just to bring up,
This one?
yes, wait, is that correct?
Was it page 9?
Yeah.
It was in red. That I thought was
Yeah. Oh, I
the
see
part
somewhere.
that was.
One down, one more down.
I see some
There you
red
go.
on the one above it too. Okay, thank you, John.
Is it me or is it not a focus on it?
Glad you said that. Okay.
A
That's
little
why I keep looking.
less self-conscious.
I was more or less wanted to have this for the record.
Oh, there you go, John. Oh, maybe it is just me. I think I printed that somewhere.
And this was presented. In a meeting where there's an earlier portion that the select board acted on to make it. Changing the towing rules,
There it is.
which is farther up is my recollection. but they decided not to act on this portion. Giving us time to look it over, that's my
Yeah,
recollection.
what are we supposed to do with this? Are we supposed to say yay?
It's
nay?
fine.
Well,
Thank you.
my conversation with Josh several weeks ago was I said, if we wanted to make changes to this, degree geographical area, he said that was fine.
So I think my 2 cents worth on how we proceed. I think the first step is gonna be to approve a high impact parking geographical areas. Then move on to approving the high impact zone fines. And then potentially go on and talk about discounts to fines for early payment. But I think the first step has to be, we have to agree on where the high impact zones are.
And potentially there's some conflict of interest here where we would have the option as individuals to saying we're speaking as a concerned citizen.
No, this is a townwide policy. I don't think this affects anybody any differently than it affects anybody else. Unless you want to break it down road by road, which I think is petty.
Well, I just said that Josh told me we don't have to stick to what's written there. And what the interim chief was saying is don't stick to what's written there
Okay,
because he's removing Gillette Pond. Or I should say West White Hill south of first intersection with Stone Fence Road.
so how would we feel if I was to make a motion that we accept the high impact areas as presented by the chief?
I'm going to object to it, and I would tell you why when the time comes, but
I wonder if we should do it somewhat differently.
Okay,
Let's go zone by zone. For example, it may be that the West White thing from Stone Fence down is the easiest one. What may be harder is Cochran and Dugway.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
and I'm hearing at least the two of us are a little less, more under consideration for making additional edits.
no,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of, you've heard me say it before, baby steps.
Yeah.
And I think what Matt's suggesting in my world is baby steps, and I like it.
The only amendment I would say to what you said, not formal, is that the map that you have is not correct compared to the verbiage. So what I would say is that yellow going up to Stone Fence, what it says, not what the other.
Yeah,
Right.
right, yeah.
That's it with this
Yeah.
correction, right? Just,
Well, I think the words are correct,
the
John.
words are correct.
Words are correct.
So I'll make a motion then.
Do you want to do each of these?
Yeah,
roads?
that a high impact area be designated as West White Hill Road from the first Stone Fence intersection to Cochran.
I would second that.
I'm in agreement.
I agree.
So that is the third one on the list, West White Hill Road from Cochrane Road to Stone Fence, check. Okay.
All right. I'll give you a break. I would suggest, I would make a motion that the Duxbury Road from Jack Jump Lane to Cochrane Road be considered a high impact zone.
Is this the place where we need to vote as a private citizen or?
That would seem reasonable to me. You're the one that decides, but yes, it goes right by your house.
As a citizen, I am in agreement with that.
And as a citizen, I'm in agreement.
So according to John, either John or Matt needs a second.
I'll second.
John,
I will vote in favor of that.
so that motion passes,
Okay.
3-0
to abstain or recused.
All right, and the next two roads, I'd rather we didn't rush through because I think we have some
Oh, I
discussion.
don't think there'll be any rushing.
Okay,
Shall we start with Cochran?
From Round Church to Route 2 in Jonesville, that one?
yeah, so I'll say my concerns have been, which I have brought up before. One is Clocken Ski Area, that when they have events, a race. I guess they do sometimes have events, there are events there in the summer that use their parking lots. I have seen cars parked on Cochrane Road, even though they do a good job of managing
Right.
their cars that are parked there. And it might seem harsh to have $150 ticket to a family that's wheels been on the pavement. And the concern of the interim chief Cohen that it's too confusing for the police officers to not include the whole road. Well, he's proposing that we don't include all of West White Hill Road. So to me, the idea that somewhere in there's a line is an overwhelmingly difficult distinction for law enforcement. And I guess the other part is the cemetery. If there are a bunch of mountain bikers that are using up all of the available parking and someone visiting a loved one's grave gets their wheel on the pavement, well, quite possibly the officer on the scene might decide not to give them a ticket, but we're saying that the only ticket you can give is $150. And I mean, I don't know if they know who's mountain biking or who's walking in the woods. That wasn't the area that I thought we were targeting is the prime example. Someone that has a lot of money and just is ignoring the parking rules on Dugway Road to go swimming in Huntington Gorge. And so this seems like quite a long way.
I also pointed out, it's only one day, but July 4th, people are
Walking, yeah.
walking down, to see the parade.
Yeah. Yes,
Is there one thing that would make, like the West White Hill it's not, on again, off again, it's up to a certain point. Is there a proposed line that, right past Cochrane's or something that would make geographic sense? If you were to do that, if you were to propose something, as opposed to, or gerrymandering it, like, well, here, yes, here, no, I mean, is there a rational start place?
I'm not aware of course, I drive the road every single day.
Mhm.
I'm not aware of difficulties anywhere along the flats. Anywhere along, from the Cochrane's all the way through the flats. The Cochrane Road trouble is always closer to the Winooski end. That I'm aware of.
So there has been times over near the Beeken area where there's been.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's.
Where there's been parking, just past Krista's horse farm, a lot of parking on the road. Good and bad parking, obviously, and it is a 45-mile-an-hour road. And so, a couple of chiefs ago was very unhappy with that situation.
So
I'm really curious about the 4th of July. I mean, maybe there's an exclusionary holiday type thing we can say for Cochrane Road, let's ease up on that day because people are parking coming into town. Because I live over on the other end, as a resident, I'm fine with that. So I'm going to talk about from Dugway Road on, and personally, if there's a violation, I don't mind that chief has to do what he has to do, whether it's $50 or $150. I don't think I really care that much. I don't know. I don't really care. Like, as long as they write tickets when people start. It doesn't seem to be an issue, honestly, I would say.
but in a way, that's what John's saying.
Yeah.
Is this not really an issue?
So is it a high impact area? Did
not
we-
really, is, I think what you're kind of
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
and I'm saying the same thing too. I don't see it as a high, if we're gonna define a high impact area, let's talk about what's high impact.
Mhm.
And my own experience, although I haven't seen what you've seen, Diane, closer to the Beacon, maybe I've just missed it, is that I'm rarely aware that the definition of high impact would apply to anything from the round church to the Dugway intersection, maybe.
If the chief is referring to this as recreational area, then yes, it is the recreational area.
Okay, so,
Which I would think if someone is improperly parked and it's a recreational area, that could cause more. Safety issues. With a car that had its.
and towing is still an option, whatever the value of the ticket.
right,
Couple of thoughts. I'm the one that made up the phrase high impact. And that wasn't the chief's term, it was never Josh's terms. It was dangerous recreational parking or whatever, so like, don't hang your hat too hard on the high impact part. I don't think we can forget that the most valuable tool in a policeman's pocket is discretion. Obviously, he's not gonna ticket people at $150 during 4th of July who park there for 25 years. Again, I think for simplicity, he's trying to say here to there, and we're not really eliminating any parking spaces. I think visiting the graves stretch, but again, police discretion. They're not gonna ticket somebody because they're visiting somebody's grave. And if Cochran's is running an event that's spilling out on the road, Cochran's needs to police that.
I guess also, I've heard nothing but good things about interim police chief Cohen, but he's not gonna be here forever. If we go back to acting police chiefs, we were told by acting police chief Hendrick that there was no discretion. If we go back 3 police chiefs, the man who was here when we started, Kyle, just pleaded guilty to killing someone with his police car, and so it's a tough job, people make mistakes. And then our last police chief, Anthony Kennedy, was seemingly let go by the Selectboard for things I didn't fully understand. But there's change, and so we can't assume if we offer the option of $150 that it will be used correctly 100% of the time. And so, yes, most of the time, maybe it will be, but I'd rather not create a situation where we regret some people getting $150 tickets for visiting a grave or going skiing with their family when they're not a serious accident.
what seems to be the consensus here of where the problem areas are on top of it?
First thing I say it's up to that Beacon Canoe access.
I'm sorry, where?
Starting from Route 2 up to Beacon. I would include the Beacon Canoe access for the parking there that's on the side. I haven't seen anything other than that, but that
Well-
doesn't mean it won't happen. I just haven't seen it.
It's semantics, but we could recommend, instead of saying what it isn't, we could say what we think it is. Meaning what ought to be 150, and that is from the Beacon access to
So how would you feel about overwalkers? Route 2.
that'd be fine too. That's very clear. That's very clear.
I could live with that.
I'd be fine with that too.
I think that would
Yeah.
make for a likely compromise.
Do you want
Does
to make?
that allow for the situation in conference that we're talking about? It's far enough down.
My God,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's passed.
Cars at Cochran's that do what they're doing are gonna get ticketed if they're doing it wrong, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be a $50 and not a $150.
So do you want to make a motion, sir?
I like.
I would make a motion that the high impact zone in regards to Cochran Road, would extend from the Overrocker pull-off to Route 2 in Jonesville.
Guess we will abstain.
Yeah,
I'll
I need a
second,
second.
I'll agree, I'll approve.
and I'll approve as well.
Wow, nice.
now do you need one of us?
So I'll read I'll read the next one.
Yeah.
Wait till Matt catches up.
Yep, I'm
You all
there.
set? Dugway, the last one, Dugway Road from Parker Road to Huntington Road. And, I guess there was discussion about all the way to the end, and should it stop within our ordinances? I think the original map that Chuck included was from it was the 2 mile ordinance that we had put in place now a couple of years ago. So discussion on the whole road, or should we do the same dance as we just did on Concord?
So,
I'm rethinking what I said last time in my capacity as a private citizen. Um. Well, maybe not, let me just remain silent for a little while and what you guys have to say.
The only thing I would say is that the 2 mile zone only speaks to the uphill, the opposite river side. And that's, so it doesn't necessarily have to, I think it makes sense to start there. Because there's decent parking up before that, but I don't think it necessarily has to meet, has to stop at the other one. I don't think it's.
So the chief asked for it to begin at Cochrane Road and head up
Oh,
to the end of Dugway. So he wanted that part included.
the good part, which just doesn't
He's
preclude
he's
using.
not precluding
Right,
parking,
parking,
he's saying,
right.
where is the high recreational areas?
And if you do some,
And in those areas, if you do something that is,
let me
His
argue.
justification was that particularly there, I'm not eliminating any parking spaces. You can't park there without being illegally parked.
But a really bad parking job, like double parking or diagonal or something like that, does prevent an emergency vehicle from getting through there, whether it's there or somewhere further up, so maybe it makes sense to do the whole thing. Cause that's unlike the other places, that's a pinch point, the whole road.
Well, it's guardrails on the left. And yards on the right, and then you've got the corner by Matt's house. None of that particularly wonderful.
so this, these yellow markings are not one side or the other,
Correct.
okay.
is there? When I've driven by, which is far less than other people in the room in the summer, where there's a lot of parking, legal and illegal going on. That somewhere around the Adams Tree Farm. Up to the Huntington Road, I haven't seen a lot of illegal parking, does that sound right, or?
Well, and I haven't either, but, again, I'm kind of rethinking,
I also don't know a designation point.
Well, the designation point that one could use is the same designation point as the change to the. Traffic ordinance that passed 2 years ago, is it in feet or miles or something?
So it stops
It's
right
For
before,
before Adams Tree Farm is,
so it stops before, but no protection of that property.
Right, it only designates uphill traffic, but it could be used for both.
is a spot on the road, yeah.
I'm sorry, Adams.
All
It's
of
called-
Yes, I was.
And if you drive up there during the swimming season. A lot of the people are stacking stumps and rocks and brush and all that stuff in their right of way, which is legal. To keep people parking there because the temptation is such. Andy Aldrich. Complains vehemently about the people parking in his area. And I think the chief is trying to listen to the residents of Dugway Road. And say, we're gonna leave those 3 parking spaces at the top of the hill of Aldrich's alone, people can park there, that's a good, safe place, much like Lower Dugway. But they can't be stretching that all the way out. In front of the tree farm.
Are there like walkers or people that park towards the Huntington end of the road that aren't the people that we imagine willfully ignore the
On rare,
ticket?
on rare occasion, but it's
Yeah.
not common.
That's a
Yeah.
good point, that's a good point, John, because. From Aldrich's up. The access to the river stinks,
Yeah,
Yes, it's exactly
you know,
that.
it's very steep, guardrails. The
And-
river
and a
isn't particularly
distance.
tempting there,
Right.
so you don't see a lot of recreational use of the river.
yeah.
For people to park there, so I think your point is good. Again, I just think I think he's just looking to say. Easy to understand.
Can I-
Not stealing any parking spaces.
So the only thing, I'm just scratching my brain here with y'all, I have heard of a drop down from Cochran's. Ski area for biking along that area. There is the potential. I don't know exactly where it is, but there's a potential of the future where somebody might park there to mountain bike.
There's a pretty good logging road up at the very end of Spears property.
Okay,
So
Is
you've got
that
the
where
big
it
brick
is?
house, it used to be Spears and now it's. Scott and what's her name's, so the next house down and then you've got the creek. Yeah, and then there's a pretty good logging road there, it wouldn't shock me that comes off of
There is some,
the camps at Cochran's.
yes, there's some path.
But there's also.
Sure.
Legitimate off-road parking there.
There is.
My personal inclination is not to include the far end of the road where we haven't had a historic problem, but.
I'm torn because, well, I want to recuse myself on any vote. I'm also aware that it's very, very rare that there's any issue beyond the mob's property, which is the mobile homes just up the road from us. I mean, it's very rare there's a problem up to the mob's property. From Cochrane to the mob's property, I'm almost never aware of anything that would qualify as a violation. But I just don't know if you guys feel as if that's too much. If that's gonna be too hard for the police to have to deal with. I'll just make sure if I ever have a gathering, I'll call my friends and say, get way off the road.
I'm not attached.
I think we're weighing. We're weighing. Simplicity of the ordinance. Versus perceived difficulty and parking issues.
Well, I like your first one, simplicity, but I just don't personally know where I would. And to me, it's simpler just to put it to the end, because I don't know a better place to put it. I would like to include the tree farm within that high use area. But I just don't know if there's anything beyond that. I don't know where to stop it personally.
So just for my knowledge. Are we comfortable with the Cochrane Road end,
Yes,
starting at Cochrane Road?
thank you. Yes, I am.
Yes. Well, Matt just said you wouldn't vote, but you would prefer it wasn't
I'm not gonna
included.
vote, but I am not comfortable, but
I
I'm
guess-
not gonna vote.
And what would you offer as alternative then?
Directly across from the mob's mobile home.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry,
any,
I don't know the mob's mobile home. Is that right, across the street from it is where the
One vast
is where the cliff is.
cliff is? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay, I got you now.
Yeah, beyond the cliff is where all the trouble starts.
Is that?
Okay,
Is- where
From the
is-
cliff back to Cochrane,
okay,
It's very rare that there's an issue.
Where is the sign of the change of ordinance? Is it right there?
No, it's,
No,
it's another 75, 80, maybe 100 yards up towards the Rosenfeld house.
Thank you for that. Now I am with you visually in my brain, and I agree.
If one wanted just language, one could adopt the language that's in the no parking on one side of the road as having
For marker.
markers and feet or miles or whatever. Not necessarily that's the right choice, but those are markers that have been written into the ordinance.
The only problem with that is that you've got great parking on the right-hand side for 200 yards before you get to the safety zone, where you're gonna. But the parking on the riverside are a real problem. So you'd like to have that, as Matt was pointing out, you'd like to have a little more deterrent to bad parking down Dugway a little bit.
Yeah, I think the high impact zone on Cochran needs to be both sides of the roads, wherever you guys vote to do it.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't suggesting otherwise.
Yeah,
Should, so if you parked on the riverside near the guardrail, you could cause a real safety. Even if there was decent parking on the other side.
Mhm.
How about this? How about in the world of baby steps? Are you in a position where you can approve high impact parking to extend to the Huntington Road on the high end?
me? I'm sorry.
I have, sure, I have a strong opinion.
I'm just trying to, again,
Yeah.
follow Matt, let's break this down into little edible pieces.
Because of, I have no strong opinion.
Wouldn't object.
So somebody motion that.
I guess if it were me, I would rather exclude the Huntington end than the Cochran end, but.
So where are we?
Or the,
You'd stop at the sign.
So you would just run it in the two
The
lines?
50 cent sign. Stop there.
that would be my preference.
I think we should include at least that the tree farm fellow.
So if we were to go farther,
He's
we'd
gonna
need
have-
more,
he's-
we'd need some
Mark renovation.
Who's having that issue? So right, if we don't do that's a great.
and there's still towing and $50 fines.
I always go to simplicity. So
I'm coming back to Chuck's discretion idea. Maybe the simplest thing is to say it's all of Cochran.
all of
and-
it.
and
Well, all of,
all of Dugway, and then it's up to the officer to decide whether it's.
I just find that to be the simplest.
That,
I'm struggling. For some reason, Overrocker fits on Cochrane for me.
Well, we already have no parking in the traveled section of the road,
Right.
all the way up.
I think they're different in that you
Yeah.
could impede emergency vehicles from either side. You did a bad thing on Dugway, and I don't think that's the case on Cochran.
So it's still, they still can get ticketed, they still can get towed. It's just, would it be the $150 ticket?
Good point. Takes a very poorly parked vehicle on Cochrane Road to.
Yeah, you would have-
To block a fire truck. Good point.
I am in favor of calling all Dugway.
Is that a motion?
I'm okay with that, having that vote, I'll vote against it, but, I'm okay with having the vote.
Oh, what do we call it? She'll move to have.
Diane
all-
moves.
Diane moves to have all of Dugway Road be in the high impact recreational area. The yellow.
So, this is an interesting thing, so. You're gonna, well, I'll second that. And you can
And you're
vote.
gonna,
I'll vote against it,
and
So
so,
right now-
so it's no, right?
Yeah,
Well, in that case,
So then you.
I'm not gonna recuse myself, and I'm gonna vote for it.
Okay,
Matt, do you want to
Okay.
do anything on that?
I'm recusing myself.
Just for the record. My mailing address, my 911 address, any address associated with me is Bart Owl Lane. I don't live on Dugway Road. And I haven't for 6 years. So would you go argue about that? Make sure you talk about that.
Well, as a lawyer, I could, I could argue, but I hear what you're saying. So the motion is passed then.
Okay, motion's
cool. Are
passed.
we through all 4 roads?
We are through.
All right.
But we have truncated Cochrane Road to begin at
Over Rocker.
Overrock, which I think is fair.
And, yeah,
So
And-
we'll
and we-
amend
and-
that.
and we went up to,
I'll let they
we
get
went up
back to you.
to whatever that circle is, yeah. Okay. Whoa, congratulations on
That's a big deal, guys.
It's a
Well,
very big deal.
good
really-
compromising.
Huh?
Um,
And if I have any big gatherings, I'm gonna send them up your way.
Please do.
It just,
Free beer,
yeah.
so,
think of us.
so to complete out the discussion for this, do we follow this through to the select board, Josh saying, we've reviewed this and this is our input? How do we-
Let me- let-
How do we
If
finish
you
this
don't
up?
mind, let me redo the map.
Okay,
I will send the map to all of us and the chief,
okay.
and this is what we're thinking.
Mhm.
Again. I don't wanna create a situation where in front of the select board we're arguing.
Okay, good.
Let's go in there with a unified answer and say, this is what we think.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
All right. Is
So
there,
now we're on to signage.
yes, so, discussion for signage with high impact parking information.
So is that a bit premature? Meaning-
Especially regarding the use of QR codes to educate, parkers location. I feel like those are very similar. I mean, can be talked about similar.
Let's take them individually,
Okay.
I think we'll blow out the first one.
Okay,
Well,
Uh,
and I'm gonna suggest, might those, both of those things be a bit premature if we haven't yet seen your well. I guess it's all gonna be part of the recommendation, but, isn't it kind of stating the obvious that there would need to be signage saying?
so is the signage to denote a higher ticket fee? That was my question.
So the chief, acting chief, interim chief. Had suggested that we have some sort of big signs that say. Park wisely, entering high fine parking area or something like that. What I wasn't clear of, but I'm still not 100%. Is do we put this one at Overrockers, one at Route 2, and one at the Huntington Road? Or do we have them each end of Dugway, each end of,
So,
my problem with having on each end of each road is. You seem to be excluding a small section.
exactly, I heard the chief say the exact same thing that Pete has been saying forever, is we need a sign at the bottom of Dugway and the top of Dugway that says entering a dense parking area or a dense recreational area, heavy fines, towing. I didn't hear the chief say we needed to do it elsewhere, however, West
He-
White
he-
Hill is a question.
He very much focused on Dugway.
He did.
You know, but I don't know how much we were supposed to read into that Dugway was just the example. And he wanted the same thing at your house and all that.
Well, I think. I'm also thinking West White would also need to have heavy fines of towing because of how egregious. The behavior is there. So I think we should recommend both the bottom and top of Dugway and. From Stone Fence entrance to Cochrane on West White.
So, I'm gonna say it again, so you are recommending it for Dugway, top and bottom. And
Yeah.
from Stone Fence to on West White Hill
Yeah.
to Cochrane.
Yeah,
Is there any need for it to be when you come over the Jonesville Bridge? For that section?
great question.
That's a big deal, don't worry about it.
No, I'm just trying to remember.
So. So what I'm hearing is. A big sign at Overockers. Saying, on Cochrane Road, basically saying entering a ticket area, is that what I'm hearing?
High recreational area,
Yep,
whatever we're gonna say,
and then
increase fines and towing.
we would put one on either end of Dugway. We would put one on. West White. From the Cochrane corner to Stone Fence. Thank you. And we would put one. After you cross the bridge on Route 2,
Here you go, Chuck.
It's my area and I, you know.
and then you'd
I-
have to have one on.
I think there needs to be one.
Hmm?
I think there needs to be one.
If we're gonna do
Right.
this down Cochrane and down all the other roads, you would include,
So I'm thinking. We're looking for input. One. On Overockers. One when you cross the bridge. One on either end of Dugway. One on either end of the high impact on West White. And one on Duxbury Road there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Seven.
5, 6, 7. Sorry, does that
just
make
count,
sense?
yep, just count it seven,
Is that too loud?
I think so.
We just closer to the door.
So total 7 signs.
7 signs?
My only question, I think that's fine. The only question is, are we now creating sign confusion on? Would we wanna change the existing signage on that way?
No,
Okay.
no, no,
It's all, there are two different things.
it's just in the beginning and it's, you know.
It's-
A dense recreational. Parking area, higher fines,
And-
towing.
And then the other things are specifics, like don't park on this side. Okay, I'm fine with that.
I just made the verbiage up,
Yeah,
obviously to be worked on.
Yeah, so I think, do you think it's our job to create
I don't think
the
so.
wording on the signs?
I think Pete always goes to the book. Finds-
Okay, order for cheap.
He always finds the
Yeah,
sign that's.
we did a fair amount on the last ones, and then he kind of went, oh yeah, those are great, but these are the ones I can get. I get that. So let's leave,
Discretion to Pete.
Discretion to Pete as
Pete.
to what,
as to what they say, and we can
And what
suggest
color they're-
locations. Okay. So I do believe, as John's been mentioning, that we do have a little more freedom for creativity on the QR codes.
So let's talk about that.
and the chief is all over that. And the chief answered, the question was, I said, can we put these on town signs? He said, absolutely. Can't put them on the state signs, but you can put them on town signs. You can put QR codes. We can
Yeah.
give out QR codes. We can, we can make a sign with a QR code.
Yeah, we jokingly said that if you're scanning this code, you're in a high impact parking area.
You're gonna read this, you're too damn close.
That's right, you're too damn close.
So in essence, even maybe we could come up with. The question I was, so you know, those red signs in that 2 mile, for example, that pole, can we just stick QR code? And a sign on that pole, we could also, I think, the chief said. We could stick them on the back, on the front.
I think somebody should talk to Pete about, as a
Yeah.
practical matter, what happens with all existing signs. I think the 7 high impact area signs, we can just agree to have a QR code go on those. But I think as far as the existing new signs, well, all existing signs, people may not wanna be replacing those.
No, these are sticker,
These are stick,
Oh, they are.
these are sticker, we
I
can stick
see.
on, I'm sorry, wasn't
Never
explicit.
mind.
and they
I could
actually,
put a
yeah,
sticker on,
people actually use them. Which is interesting.
and, he brought it up before we even brought it up.
Okay, great. So,
So I would, what I would propose that we do. Is that I would correct this. When I get your drawing, I would correct that, then I would put on the actual, and I. But, well, I'll put the verbiage here to say yellow indicates high impact, higher. And I think I'll also change. I'm thinking that, just can I ask you a style question? Is, I think that this is probably more effective, isn't it?
Thanks for going. It is,
Let's just try to.
yeah.
Or I think I can even do a list for start.
So the chief, was also commenting on the QR code, if we, so we can land on to say this, John, but also have like, words to go with it. You'd have to work on the words like, welcome to Richmond, well, I mean, it says parking at the top, but we could say, highlighted yellow sections are, dense recreational parking areas which have increased fines.
Yeah,
And he also wanted, he said, you can just drop the ordinance in also onto the QR code, the section that is valuable. Did you say anything else? What did you?
No, I think, I don't think it's, I think you can go to a QR and you can go to a page that still has additional links to it.
Yeah,
So I think you can go on there and state boldly. That this sign is in a high impact recreational parking area, fines are $150 and possibly tow. For more parking options, click here.
yeah, and if the lot, and if it's full, other, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. There was one other thing, Chuck, that he had mentioned was, escaping me right now, he, like others, really liked those pictures of off the travel portion of the road. So he said it'd be really nice to say, what does off the travel portion of the road mean? On that landing pad, that was the other one, John. An explanation and maybe that little picture like the land trust uses or something like that to show
That's a good idea.
tires, one side of the fog lines on Cochrane Road and then. Yeah,
and it'd be
Like
like
you
this,
said.
and then the red cross, like the red X over.
You guys have said that the frost lines have made a nice difference, because
Oh, yeah.
you went from the people who thought you can't have tires on the pavement to. You can have tires on the pavement that aren't on the travel
Yeah, we
portion of the road.
find-
He showed us pictures of people that were on the Dugway Road. But then the next car back was just 6 inches more over, and his car was in the worn. Right-hand tire track
mhm,
coming down.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, when you look at it now in the summer, up like near the bridge, people are much more aligned. And it's much less scary and much less, halfway down the hill and stuff, so.
so I'd also put on. If your car is missing, here's the phone number.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, so this QR code. Is on some things, because people have occasionally called me on it, where are these, do these still occur? What I was gonna do is I'm gonna keep this link. And just amend what it hits,
Could be a land trust,
the land trust signs have it.
yeah,
So who do we? Work with at the town? Who works on the town websites and would create that directory for us?
I think John does it.
I did the thing, but I worked with, I would now work with Duncan to
Right, so you
amend
work with
this
Duncan, he
language.
would be
Yeah, to amend this language.
Richmond.gov or whatever.
Yeah, this is where we are.
Since we're still talking about signs and you can call me out of order. There's a small piece of Duxbury Road between Jumping Jack Lane and the Bolton Town line. And we're not worrying about that is my take. Putting up an extra sign saying you are leaving the high impact area. I'm fine with that, but just noting it that,
I think it's just feet.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's a barrier, okay, okay.
Just so you know. That here's some stats, is that this thing has been hit 18,433 times.
Wow.
So people actually look at it.
That's good.
I wouldn't be surprised, John, if Pete would put on the backside of that sign. No parking on travel portion of the road, so kind of saying. Rules still apply, but not those rules.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay,
All right, anything else on that?
I think we're on the topic for our next
Well,
meeting.
John, what did you want us, did we cover what you wanted inserted at
We
seven?
didn't do the Beacon parking lots.
Yeah, so I was walking by and I saw that they have this sign that says no parking. And I meant to call someone and ask why, and maybe someone here knows, and I can still ask them and call why. Lot open April 1st to October 31st, year-round parking over Rockers Park, 0.5 miles to the west. The why they spent thousands of dollars, and it's theirs, why they spent thousands of dollars on this new lot and they don't want anyone parking there in November. I saw someone parking there today in the snow, and I understand that they might not want to plow it. But why they want people to use the town parking lot, and the question is, does anyone know why?
I don't know.
I could
Do they
ask
plow
them.
over rockers? Do we plow over rockers?
I think so.
Yes, Pete does,
We do.
yes.
And it may just be, it just may be that gravel is so new, it's not hard in yet. And if they plowed it, it would just,
Well, it's, yeah, it's,
I understand that costs money. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's mud.
I'm sorry, I just want to be clear, is this the new agenda item? That we're
Yes,
talking
you
about?
will take a
Okay.
look at, yeah,
Yeah.
let's put that.
that we injected this at 7:20
Yeah.
or something. It's a good question.
Sure, I'll ask them why the sign says don't park there in November. Yes, when there's no snow on the
It's a
ground.
curiosity.
Okay,
I'm assuming, somewhat tangentially related. That they're gonna plow Gillette's Pond parking area.
yeah. Okay,
So they
That's
do
all.
have people apply.
Okay,
I once wondered if anyone knew anything, and I'll ask.
Topics for next, anything else on that?
Well, so we haven't. I may be out of order. We haven't touched on the reduction in ticket fines and all that stuff.
No.
Are we not wanting to look at that tonight?
I don't.
I don't,
It's 7:20.
it's true, all right. We have time, back to,
Is there an issue with it not being warned?
no, it's our agenda.
Matt, you go ahead.
Is an addition,
I'm fine.
I know that.
You see it in parking. Like, it's so common now with municipal tickets. And I hate all the various QR parking in Burlington these days. But you do see pay within X number of days, and if you don't, there's an absurd jump. I don't, I tend to process out loud. I'm not sure it's our job to be addressing the percentage of people who pay versus those who don't. I'm more thinking it's a high impact area, it's 150. And it is what it is.
I feel the same way. I feel like I don't wanna micromanage that part of it. I think if somebody felt really strong and police department and select board said, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good way to get more tickets paid or whatever, or. I personally,
I think. My gut tells me that those 45 people out of 100 are gonna pay a fine, the fine period. My
Yeah.
gut also tells me that the real problem isn't them. And we need to have a better mechanism, tool in place to recover our money from the other 55%. And whether that's by putting a processing fee on things, and now it's $250. Because I asked the chief today, I said, if somebody's got 10 parking tickets and they're not paying them, you threaten civil action, then what happens? And he said, in 15 years of doing this, I've never seen this a town take a person to court for civil action. So you got 10 tickets out there, $1,500. And what are the odds you're gonna get 11? I'm thinking pretty high, right?
mhm.
It's gonna be,
That's
it's gonna be the towing.
It may be a fan of towing back, exactly right.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the enforcement key.
When one of the officers has got discretion, she or he's gonna know that this person is a multiple offender, isn't that true?
I'm not sure how.
Yeah,
Would they have a,
Well,
would they have a
when
mark on their,
Well, that's a great question, when they go run the plate. I mean, that's a
would that
common
be,
thing to do.
I guess that's a question, would, if they. Offender, or. I would imagine you would be able to tell if they were multiple offender, don't imagine you'd be able to tell whether they were in arrears. But.
So a little similar to that is, I asked the chief, I said, I would be totally in favor of doing a pay within 7 days reduction in the fine once. Teaching tool, learning, teaching moment, no problem. How can that be written in? And he said, my experience is that in parking situations, you're gonna say, you parked there this time, John parked there last time, Max parked there the time before.
Same car, 3 different
So
drivers.
keep giving us the waiver.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Well,
trying to use this as a teaching tool, but I'm also trying not to be a sap.
This is gonna be painful.
No, and I think it's quickly. You know, the word gets around that if you pay within 7 days, you get a reduction, that sounds fine. But the word also gets around that, shit, I got 10 of those tickets and I hadn't paid any of them, and they just keep writing me these threatening letters, and I keep telling them.
I wanna make it as easy as possible for towing. Because I think that's the word that's gonna get around.
Yeah. Cause I think actually, we gotta keep in mind, a lot of these people are not local. There probably isn't a whole lot of networking between them, but if you walk out, and you see the truck, remember that. Even if you're not too.
I haven't commented, I guess, because I don't know if I feel like I know enough about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
no,
the
yeah,
details.
I think it's good we're airing. If nothing else, we're laying the groundwork for a more conclusive discussion, maybe next time.
Let's do a more conclusive discussion next time. I got someone's attention. In August, they parked in a wild way. At the corner, you know where the bend is right before you get to my house, the sharp bend.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Yeah, somebody parked wildly inappropriately
I
there.
remember that.
And so I walked out and I looked at him and said, I give it 20 minutes. And he looked at me and said, 20 minutes, what? I said, before you're towed. And, and that got his attention. But people, they are idiots. They are idiots.
Yeah, I've taken so many pictures of that one sign at the lower gorge that says no parking here.
Yeah.
A car, a single car
Yeah.
under the no parking sign, there's like all this other. It's great.
This is kind of one of those discussions we have our whole lives, where our heart is arguing with our heads.
Yeah.
Right? The compassionate Chuck says, oh, it's some family down there taking their kids through the river for a swim and all that stuff. And my head says, they're breaking the law.
Mhm.
You know, and we don't know the situation, you're reading too much into it. When I have those discussions, when we're sitting here, I think to myself, I'm kind of working for the people of Richmond, that's the people who, the residents, that's who I'm supposed to be representing here.
I'm thinking officer discretion. That's.
John says that blows in the wind a little bit, and I'm not sure he's wrong.
Well.
But you're right.
Do you wanna put it on the topic for next meeting? I think we're gonna need a next meeting reasonably soon. So that we can pass all this recommendation on. When was the deadline? Remind me again.
So,
And
no,
you're asking if we want this $150 ticket to be in force for the summer season, how soon do we, the select board need to get moving?
Yeah,
I don't know the answer.
Mark,
Last time we did this, from my feeble memory, we needed to have, but the process was, we needed to submit wording. Then the lawyer had to review it. The select board had to vote on it. And we had to have it had to be in place for 90 days.
days of come,
So I think our crossover was March 1.
Yes.
I think it was March 1.
So
Get
that,
it in
that,
place
that means
for
March
June.
1. The lawyers reviewed it and the select boards approved it. So as you say, that's,
I think we need to get in January and then nail it all down tight.
So question, are we the drivers of this ordinance change, or are we just saying, hey, we took a look at it, this is our.
I don't think we're the drivers, but I think.
I mean, who's gonna actually write that ordinance and put it in?
I think Josh and the acting chief are the drivers.
Okay,
They've
So-
asked us
so we're giving
what we
it,
think of it, and they obviously asked Andy what he thinks of it.
so I say we give input in January?
Yeah,
All right, so we got a high impact area, but we aren't at this time going to, we're not tomorrow going to the select board and saying, okay, we're waiting to nail things down in the next meeting.
No, we'll have to, or let Josh and the chief know that we're not ready to dig on this one yet.
Is Josh and the chief who we're working with, is that all we have to talk to? Do we have to go to the select board, or do we just pass it to Josh? This is our input. Or are we going to the select board as giving our input?
we'll just ask him if he wants us to go.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
'Cause that changes everything, changes presentation style and all that.
Just,
yeah, Mike, go ahead, Tom.
just, back to Andy for a moment, do we want to get back to him and tell him what we discussed is, I mean, I think that we were on a little bit different tracks. I feel like he put some effort into writing that up, the whole thing.
This letter was to Josh, his
Okay,
letter was to
Josh.
Josh, he was copying a,
Okay.
keep us in the loop. Uh, Would it be nice for us to circle back to Andy and say we discussed it at our meeting and came to what conclusion? We came to the conclusion of really no opinion. If they want to do it, they can do it, but didn't feel like we should.
Yeah,
Set that up.
I think that's our.
Are you looking at the back notes on that?
Well, just, we could see, yeah, that's what I was, we like we're attracted to the idea of a waiver, of a partial waiver. But don't feel as if it's our position to recommend one way or the other. That makes sense?
Yep. So just, go
Would,
ahead.
being the good citizens aware, should we circle in response to Andy? Or just copy him when we respond to Josh?
I don't, Andy did not communicate with us directly,
He did not.
so I don't think we need to communicate with Andy. I think that's Josh's job and chief.
Okay. Perfect. I just wanna close any.
I'm gonna give you a quick excerpt from the chief's email to me, in response to Andy's email. I'm talking about reducing the fine, the chief's words were, I thought about the best way to do this is to make a policy or written in the ordinance that those who pay their fines within 15 days of the violation will receive a 50% discount. This policy would then apply to all parking ordinance violations. I think what he's trying to tell me there is a couple things. The first thing was that whatever we do for a discount needs to be a percentage. Because we are discussing parking ordinances, but this applies to all ordinances in Richmond. So if you have a barking dog issue, you're gonna have the same. That was my question to him, are we talking about barking dogs? And he said, well, he says, well, make it a percentage. Don't make it a dollar amount. So you can't say, we'll waive $50 or $150 ticket because you might be arguing a $35 dog barking, in which case you owe me $15. So I think the two things I saw from that was, and as the conversation continued was, it's gotta be a percentage. And he thought 7 days might even be better than 15 days. Cause he said, in my world, if I'm gonna do something in 15 days, it goes above the visor.
And
7
Andy,
days, it goes on the console.
and Andy said it has to be written on the ticket.
What's that?
It has to be written on the ticket.
Has to be,
It needs to be written on the ticket. So it says on the ticket.
right, so that's what he's
Yeah.
saying. He's saying it can be written in the ordinance
Yeah.
or it can be written on the ticket.
Yeah,
And I think,
It has to be the ticket.
it has to be. I mean, when you have it, you go, oh, wow, I could
Yeah.
discount if I
Yeah.
pay it in 7 days. I'm gonna go home and pay this right now.
and the chief is very clear that he needs to rewrite the entire citation book. That, the parking tickets the way they are right now are very antiquated wording and they make no sense. So you need to have like 2 violations. Parking in high impact zone, parking outside the approved ordinances, and he does not write state tickets. He doesn't write state statutes. The previous chief, not Cambridge, but Elric there, he wrote, he carried 2 books.
Mhm.
The problem with that was if you wrote a state ticket, when they paid it, you got change.
With that. Topics for next meeting. It seems this agenda, do we need to crisp up the words to Josh? Or
Determine,
we
Go
just
ahead.
wrote those bits in there.
We made some changes to like, was it the whole road, you know, like for Cochran Road, we need to get some feedback.
So Chuck was going to modify his yellow.
So it's just on an agenda.
But keep everyone in the loop into what goes on there.
No,
So-
Point on the issue.
maybe we tighten the language.
Well, when I
For
spoke-
presentation to the judge.
When I spoke with Josh about possibly including only part of some of the 4 roads, he said, yes, you could make it like other language in the ordinance. I guess we're looking at the stone fence and the overrockers, I guess.
Or the new
Yeah,
language.
the words we have to somehow add, and it sounds like.
So when you say that, it makes me think that Josh is looking for us to write the ordinance.
I proposed. I guess he was open to the idea of this committee. Limiting the high impact area to portions of the 4 roads that had already been discussed. Is that true?
But I think so, John, but he's not looking for us to wordsmith the ordinance itself.
But maybe because there's 3 things in red. That we were, I think, specifically asked to comment on. I don't think it would be a lot of work for us to wordsmith those 3 things.
Only we had a lawyer on it.
At the next meeting and say to Josh, this is our suggestion.
But so just from an agenda standpoint, what is that?
So wordsmith, the ordinances.
Yes,
Per, I'm gonna call it yellow areas for right now, okay?
yes.
Okay, all right.
Do we need to spend any more time on the timeline to the ordinance and signage? Do we want to formalize that as an agenda item next week, or did we just?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Maybe my next question actually is gonna be, do we need to invite somebody to the next meeting? I would think primarily, I would think maybe Josh.
Mhm.
To better define the lines between his responsibilities and our
Okay.
responsibilities. What do you think?
Yeah,
Just for
I
sure.
agree, and I think we should meet. Before or into the middle of January. I don't think we should stretch it out beyond. I think we should get our work wrapped up by
Okay.
mid-January. So there's plenty of time.
Yeah, that's a conference thing.
For 90 days and all that other stuff.
At least to get our input on that.
Yes,
We meet on Mondays, so moving on to next meeting.
so that would be,
Calendar.
6, 13, and 20? No, I'm looking at the wrong year, never mind.
5, 12, 19, 26, those are our
Okay,
Mondays.
yes.
Can I throw just a quick question out there? If we're gonna invite Josh, do we need to avoid select board nights?
It's true.
Do they meet at 7?
They meet at the same time, but we've sort of fallen into their select board.
So, not that we should, but we have 6 to 7 before the select board meet. I don't know if he goes to the water and sewer.
Well, 6 to 7 is water and sewer.
They were over there working.
Oh, and Josh goes to those as well.
He was
Yeah.
over-
So we would need, okay, so Monday would.
I can do easily Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Thursdays is tough.
Wednesdays are less preferable for me.
I think keep
Is there-
Mondays right now.
Can we do, and please just jump in here. Can we do before the select board meeting on Monday? Like 5 to 6
Oh, man.
with Josh, and then we finish 6 to 7 on our own?
I could.
I could.
I could. Wow,
Just throw on your,
wow. Whoa. I
So
love
the
that.
5th or the 12th?
So 5 to 7, I love that time.
I could be in bed by 7.
I like the 5th only because it gives us.
Wait, they have water and sewer from 5 to 7, select boards from 7 to 9, so water and sewer meets.
Oh,
5
from
to
5 to 7. And I don't know that he's as involved in water and sewer.
I think I saw him over there now,
And do they meet once a week?
every other. So we used to be on the other side of them, so we could find that, we could find where they are in. So select board's meeting January 5th, so is water and sewer. They're also meeting the 6th, remember they're getting ready for their budget stuff.
We're also in budget season.
That's so harsh for them, they're meeting all the
How
time.
about Wednesday?
That's, and they meet on. They meet on the 19th, so we have the They meet on the.
Well, what we often do is say we'd like to meet on such and such a date, and then you guys confirm with them anyway, so maybe. We say to them. we'd like
So
to meet
what
on-
works for all of you? That's a really good question. What works for everybody? So they meet on the 5th and the 19th. They also meet on another night, but
So the 12th is open.
12th is open for if we don't want to be on the select board.
If we wanted to
Yeah.
meet at 5, conceivably.
So they on 21st. Well, they're meeting so often. Meeting on the 21st also. Yeah, but who wants to be on the select board, huh?
I did not want to.
You know, there,
Okay, yeah, there is the opening, but I think it's gonna get filled, right?
yes,
So, back on our calendar, honestly, I do know that we're here on the 5th. We're here, oh, that's news. Okay, I have one trip to make and I don't know. It's either the weekend of the 9th or weekend of the 16th, which I will not be back on the Monday, but why don't we go ahead and pick a date, and if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me.
so the 12th doesn't have the select board, am I right?
Correct.
Let's pick the 12th and
Let's
just
pick
see
the
if it
12th.
works.
Let's pick the 12th. And you all got excited from 5 to 7. Do you want me to put it 5 to 7?
I don't, as for Josh, I don't know if there's something better for Josh, I don't care.
All right, so we're gonna put it on the 12th. There's a possibility I will not be here. You will not be here. We go where I think we're going. That's okay. Like you said, let's get it on the books. So 5 to 7, does that still work? Just double check.
Potential on the 12th.
Yes, from 5 to 7. Yeah. Let's just double check what else is going on. Just Andrew's community floors, if there's, that's it. I think you should choose maybe, I'll be in a place that I can phone in. How's that? All right, I will, how about if I send that meeting notice to Duncan to get it on the books? Shall I? I'm gonna do that. Okay,
I'll move to adjourn.
Is someone gonna? Get a feel for the timeline that Josh would have us on to get this going? You want?
I'll ask
You got
Josh,
it.
second. What timeline we need to get traffic ordinance amended for the summer season, yes.
No, maybe ask him if we're doing the wording or he is. If he's doing the wording,
Oh, okay.
that's what I.
life gets really
Oh,
good.
okay, I'll both of those questions and
And I almost think
So,
that,
so I guess it's John sort of saying like, we're under the impression that you're looking for input from us and we just want to know when you want that input. And we are assuming that you all are writing the ordinances. How's that seem? Just so,
that we would rather that they did it, so I would ask.
we didn't come up with this idea.
Yes,
So
okay.
I think it's, since we're not the originator, we're not the, but I don't know,
Oh,
I think definitely.
okay.
Yeah. And say that we, do you also, since you're talking to him, you wanna invite him to the, January 12th meeting from 5 to 7? See if that works for him.
I'll invite him to the meeting from 5 to 7 and clarify what he wants us to do with this proposal that was made.
And so what we'll talk to him about the meeting is the map that would have already been passed around and.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be here 5 to 7, just
Correct.
whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, okay, yes, okay.
Yeah, we'll need him for 15 minutes. maybe.
Correct. About 15 minutes on that, yeah.
Okay,
All right, all good?
we're adjourned. I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
wait,
Aye. Aye, aye, aye.
oh, he's got it.